guys, gals, Ted from Pew View Farms here. It is Sunday afternoon, and we are down here at the food plots. This is food plot number one. This is our bigger of the two, and just replacing the SD card in our game camera right there. Seeing what kind of traffic we are getting here at the food plot, and it's looking pretty good. Actually, what we got right there? Toad, little baby toad. All right, what I've noticed in week 2 of the food plots is, if you notice, if you go back to week 1 for the food plot update, these patches of clover seed that you see did not have this grass seed. Now this is the pasture blend. I call it pasture blend. I'm really not exactly sure. It's got 3 different kinds of grasses in it, and we ended up throwing that in with it too. And this stuff started taking off, and I didn't see any sprouting of this grass seed right here. None at all. Now it's really starting to take off. The clover seed, I'm not familiar too well on how fast clover grows. To me, it kind of still looks the same, maybe a little more thicker, but like throughout all this, I mean, the grass seed just took off. So I guess in my wondering is, I'm hoping that the grass seed doesn't overtake the clover seed. You can see where obviously it is wetter. It's not going to be as plentiful, as thick, but if you look, the deer traffic in here is insane. We are getting tons and tons of deer tracks. And of course, we didn't have the SD card in the camera for the last week, so we do not get to know what was hanging out in here. But as for sure, we definitely, got some big doe tracks. Definitely got some buck tracks in here. Wow, I'm amazed. But yeah, the clover seed is just really taking ramped up on just about everything that we spread it on. Wow, this is really wet too, though. Holy crap. Well, kind of a little panoramic view of this area. And if I'd have to say, this area that we ended up planting is probably, let's call it 60 by 60. Maybe a little bit bigger, but 60 by 60 sounds about right. And it has a really nice green tint to just about everything here that we did. Wow. I'm excited that the grass seed took. This is really the first time that I got to see this free grass seed that we did get from the feed mill, due to they couldn't sell it because of its age. Like I said, I was told that, it may not be any good, but it's coming up. Not everywhere, but it's definitely coming up. But like, oh yeah, look at all the clover seed there. Patches and patches of clover, 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 and grass. So this is week 2 of this. Not too bad. And it's definitely a deer area. We've always known this, that's hence why I have that tree stand right there. The tree stand that I'm not going to hunt out of, probably because it's very uncomfortable. That if we get time, we're going to move that tree stand and bring down the 2-man hopefully here within the next week or so. Get it set up. But wow, I am super happy with how this is turning out. It's a nice secluded area here in the woods, as you guys can see out there in the daylight out through there. That is our hayfield below the main farm. So we're really into the woods about, yeah, we'll call it 75 yards. And then right down there is a kind of a runoff stream, which I would call it, but it runs off year round, even when it is dry. So down in that little dip down there's a nice little stream. So we have food source, we have water source, and we do have a really good bedding area up on beyond there where they logged the woods several years ago. And there's a lot of tops still up in there, and kind of a nice thick area for the deer to bed down. So we've kind of given them all the elements that they need to be happy. So I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of deer traffic here this year during our seasons, and super looking forward to setting up on this area in particular, and seeing if me and my son can at least see his first buck. That's our, would love for him to see a set of horns this year with his bow. So awesome. Food plot number 1, guys, is doing great. Like I said, look at the clover, the grass. So wow, this I'm just amazed though, this grass took off in 1 week. So that looks pretty good. Now I'm really curious to see what the drier area looks like. But if we do not set up on this area with this 2-man stand, if I don't get it set up right away, we do have a pretty nice little ground blind. And I think we'll be able to set the ground blind up in here somewhere, maybe underneath that tree. Kind of tuck ourselves in a little bit, or maybe up there in that mess right there. But yeah, hopefully this week we get some good footage of what's been running in and out of here. Because like I said, there's a lot of deer traffic in through that mud. So there's been a lot of different kinds of deer through here. So hopefully there's a couple decent bruisers. And I look forward to showing you guys. And also stay tuned. Once we get to going into our archery season, which I believe is the first week in October, maybe the second week in October it starts, we will bring the video camera down with us and tape a little bit. Maybe we'll get you guys some footage of us doing a little bit of archery hunting this year and whatnot like that. So let's hop on the 4-wheeler and let's go check out food plot number 2. All right, we are over here at food plot number 2, and I'm looking at it through the camera lens versus how I'm looking at it just off of the lens. And nice little sea of green. Maybe if you get down a little bit lower, as you can see, this was completely brown 2 weeks ago, and here we go. Same deal here. I'll give you guys a little close-up view. The grass seed has like really taken off. Within 1 week, this grass seed has just sprouted right out. The clover seed still looks the same, but it filled in better here. This area, like I said, is definitely a drier area. And as you can see, we got the clover mix. We got lots and lots of patches of grass. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Really awesome. Now this area here is a lot smaller. I would have to say that this area here would be considered as like a 12 by 20. Well, let's call it a 12 by 24. Maybe a 16 by 24 area that we broadcasted the seed. And this is about, I would say, 80% covered already. The exciting thing about this area here is yearly we get a high volume of deer traffic, especially during rut. Of those of you who don't know what rut is, deer rut is a part of the season when the male bucks chase the does. It's the only time of year that the does are in heat, and the bucks start to battle against each other, and they start to leave their signs through the woods and leaving their territory hey, don't come in here. This is my area. This is my bedroom, not yours. And this area right here in particular, which isn't very far, we're probably only about 200 yards from food plot number 1, gets a lot of rut activity. That tree right there is a huge scrape area. I mean, this area usually you can see, let's see if we can find any of the old licking branches. No, you can't. But if you look right here onto this branch right here where it's broke off, I can almost guarantee last year or maybe the year before, the branch that broke off of here was just dangling down. And that's what happens is that's where they leave scents off of their glands. And that's would be called a licking branch right there. And I know for a fact that that was this area. But this area will be tore up, and I look forward to seeing that this year. And then traveling down through this little trail through here, we'll get a series of buck rubs, and they'll either come from that direction, because basically those woods over there, we go probably another 100 yards, and then there's the neighbor's woods, and a lot of deer come from that area because it has super low hunting pressure. So there's a lot of deer that bed up in that area up there and will travel through here. And we just gave them a reason to come through here more often. Definitely, for sure. I haven't really done much scouting in the woods to see if there was any rubs. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what a rub is basically a tree that a deer takes with his horns and he marks up. And I wish I could tell you, oh, awesome, guys, look at this is a rub. No, this is a rub from the Kubota tractor. This is a Kubota rub. Wrong kind of deer. Let's see. Maybe I can show you one from last year. But yeah, we'll have rubs all up through here on these little trees. I really don't see anything left from last year. They might have been a little deeper in the woods last year. But yeah, from this distance, all right, you can see it now. See the four-wheeler. See the patch of, leaves right there. We got leaves. And then look at that green tent. That is really, really taken. And that is our tiny food plot number 2. But tiny food plot number 2 is doing really well. What is that? AOS safety. I don't know what that is. Oh, you know what that is? Look at that. You see what that is? Those are a set of my earmuffs that I lost off the brush hog. Yep, that's what the brush hog did. Chewed them up, and that's what a brush hog is meant to do. Chew up earmuffs and make food plots here on Pewview Farms. This is going to be another pretty cool area. I don't necessarily know if we're going to put a stand, because like I said, just below that four-wheeler, about 25 yards, 30 yards, I have a really nice one-man ladder stand that has already been there for the last several years. It has its home. The deer know it's there. It's not something new to them, so it's a little bit easier to hunt out of that. So I want to leave that there, because I can see the deer come up in here from that stand. So this might be another area that we might set up the ground blind, and we might take the other two-man ladder stand and find another spot to set. Next year, these are definitely going to be done again, and we're going to find actually another 2 or 3 more areas just similar to this, and I got an idea where we're going to go with them. And I'm just going to do the same thing, honestly. Just kind of broadcast the stuff out with the ham. We'll rake it in, and because this really seemed to work. Pretty impressive. And it actually proves the theory that if you're out planting fields, let's just say in general, you're refitting a field. A lot of people will go through afterwards, you know, after they plow, disc, call the pack, you know, whatever else they use on the field, will go through with a grain drill and then call the packet afterwards, or I don't know, before, whatever. This theory proves that you don't have to go through all that work. This is kind of a no-till operation, really, if you think about it. I mean, yes, we came in through here, the brush hog, chewed stuff up, but I really didn't penetrate the ground that much. We kind of just took that top layer of composted leaves that have been laying in here for years and just chewed everything up and kind of made it all, just really leveled it off. You know, the brush hog kind of took off the high spots and the crowns and everything like that, but you know, I would consider this a partial no-till operation. All we did was take the broadcast, our hand. We did use the broadcaster for a while, and it just kept plugging up. So we started spreading it out by hand, and you know, here we go. Prime example. We didn't do anything other than just kind of rake it back in. So, you know, no-till is kind of a neat thing how it works. If there's any kind of ground to soil penetration contact, obviously it seems to take. So a little bummed actually now looking at it. I wish I would have went further into that trail right there. Actually we still could. I have plenty of seed. It's not going to be taken off as fast as this, but you know, I could add on to this. But I think for this year, I think we're set. You know, these were total experimental deals. The first time we've ever done food plots, and you know, I wouldn't say that I didn't have a ton of faith in this operation, but I wasn't really sure how it was going to work. Due to the sunlight, as you guys can see, you know, our natural canopy is still pretty thick. Here in this area right there, that gets some sun, I would say, probably from the noonish to 3 o'clock hour. But we're not getting a lot of sun in here, as is also the big food plot number 1. That don't get a ton of sun because we are in the woods and we do still have a natural canopy. And this stuff seemed to really kind of take off. So, all right, guys. So this is a food plot number 2. We will, like I said, be doing weekly updates on this stuff. I know there's a few of you that are very interested to see how this goes. I know there's a few of you that are very interested to watch us hunt this year. Like I said, I'm going to try popping in a couple hunting videos, per se, I guess we could call it. Excited about that, especially being able to film my son. I think we're going to make some really good, long-lasting memories, and we're going to catch it on photo and our video. I think it's going to be awesome. Super awesome. So look forward to next week. Another video. We'll come down to the same 2 spots, and I'll show you guys exactly what week 3 number looks like. And I personally am not coming down here during the week checking it out. I'm trying to leave as little amount of my scent here, my presence here, until we start hunting. So just coming down here once a week to check out the SD cards in our game cams and see how these food plots are doing is sufficient enough. Yes, we do have deer traffic here, right there, some. So, and we do have a lot of trees down. Last year, these trees were not down. The several windstorms that we've had, and I have not done a thorough investigation of the woods this year. Sorry about that. My hand shut the video off. Yeah, as I was saying, we have not really done a thorough investigation this year, but as I can see, just in one area right here, there's 1, 2, 3, you know, small trees that are down, and I know for a fact that there's probably quite a few more. We had a lot of windstorms this summer, and we just really haven't been through the woods to see, so we're gonna have to be getting down here at the chainsaw, and we'll take care of these and heck them up for some firewood for our camping adventures. So pretty cool, guys. So like I said, one more time, look forward to week number 3, what these food plots look like. So that being said, guys, if you'd enjoyed this video, please like, comment down below, and subscribe if you already haven't. We are approaching 600 subscribers, another monumental goal. To me, every 3-digit 100 number is monumental, and when we get to that 1K is going to be really monumental. And trust me, as soon as we get to the 1K, you guys are going to be seeing me live streaming like I used to, popping in all the time. I miss it, and I miss talking to you guys like that. So we're getting there, 400 away, and we'll be live streaming again. So that being said, guys, I look forward to talking to y'all real soon.